The Ecuadorian Navy sends a warm but formal greeting to the UNESCO, the Philippines government, and sponsors for this relevant event within the framework of policies for sustainable development and environmental protection. We reiterate our commitment to the Galapagos Marine Reserve, declared a World Heritage Site since 1978, and its importance was reaffirmed at the 26th Conference of the Parties to Climate Change, COP26, held in Glasgow, Scotland. We are committed to the Galapagos. Our government has declared its intention to enlarge the existing Galapagos Marine Reserve by 60,000 square kilometers, in addition to the existing 130,000. The past June 8th, on World Oceans Day, Ecuador signed an East Tropical Marine Corridor Agreement with Colombia, Costa Rica, and Panama, and at COP26, Ecuador, together with the three mentioned countries, agreed to a further commitment for the protection of the tropical East Marine Corridor. As the General Commander of the Ecuadorian Navy, I wish all of you success in this event. I know that the outcome will turn in favor of public policies that encourage us to keep improving the oceans and environmental protection standards in the world.
Thank you to the Manila SDG Festival Forum and the workshop to the Earth Savers Dream Center that was started by UNESCO in 2018 as an Artist for Peace under Cecile Alvarez and established by the late Senator and Secretary Gergenson Alvarez to create and forum a so-called peace movement not by force but by art. I also would like to thank Victor Sebek, President of South-South Cooperation Council, for the invitation to come to this wonderful country. Thank you too to the College of Environment and Maritime Affairs, UPACIFICO, for the technical support, and to the Dean, Commander Julian Reina. Why is UPACIFICO Ecuador present in this important forum? Our goal is the empowerment of citizens through education in the rights and obligations with the Pacific Ocean. The program, Our Pacifico Ocean, consisted of a think tank, Mare Nostrum Pacifico, as well as a citizen maritime council. This initiative has been set to promote maritime culture in Ecuador, and it is made up of representatives of private and public organizations as well as individuals. Our model is an open invitation to join in an international link to promote sea life and conservation. Galapagos Islands are our main driver. 965 kilometers of the Ecuadorian continental land coast on the Pacific Ocean. This archipelago, also known as the Enchanted Island, among other names, Galapagos is famous for being the place where Charles Darwin began to form the theory of the evolution of species. To conserve this exclusive beauty of nature is our main driver. Studying it for health, well-being, peace, and climate justice. All this under the perspective of the Sustainable Development Goal number 14, Life Below Water. The UN Decade of Ocean Science of Sustainable Development 2021-2030, and taking advantage of the elaboration of the new UN instruments like the one for the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction. Why is the ocean our concern? the BBNJ has opened a window to make a proposal from academia to contribute to optimize governance of the high seas. With this purpose, from the University of the Pacifico and our Asian Pacifico Center, we launched a program called Our Pacific Ocean to elaborate strategies to work for the maritime culture and defense of marine resources in our country. How do we support our ideas? From academia, we support our proposals based on science and research to connect them with national and international policies and decision makers. Some examples of the knowledge developed by different institutions or organizations in the Southeastern Pacific region are the following. The Strong High Seas Project, created in 2017, is a 5-year project that aims to strengthen regional ocean governance for the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity in areas beyond national jurisdiction. This project defines ecological baseline for the Southeast Pacific, an important ecological connectivity between the exclusive economic zone and the high seas. Defining the connectivity between the exclusive economic zone and the high seas is a fundamental reason to propose and struggle for an extended area of marine protection biodiversity beyond the exclusive economic zone that we would like to call buffer zone. To understand the ecological connectivity as the basis for this buffer zone, a recent research in sharks have shown the regional coverage of their habitat. One example of this is Cassiopeia project. The pregnant scallop hammerhead shark, tagged in February 2021 with a satellite transmitter at the Galapagos Marine Reserve, has reached the coast of the Gulf of Panama, a non-nursery area for this species. After covering more than 4,000 kilometers, Cassiopeia has provided the first round-trip satellite track between Galapagos Oceanic Archipelago and birthing grounds located on the continental coast of Panama. For this critical endangered species, we reinforce the need for buffer zones. Ecuador, at the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow, declared that it will expand the marine reserve around the Galapagos Island to 200,000 square kilometers. Galapagos was one of the first large-scale marine conservation areas to be declared by UNESCO, and it is one of the most productive marine ecosystems in the world. The Galapagos and the Tubataha Marine Park make us sister countries at the Pacific Ocean. On the other hand, the presidents of Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, and Panama also declared in Glasgow COP26 the protection and management migratory ways that conform the Eastern Tropical Pacific Marine Corridor, joined 3 of UNESCO Natural Heritage: Malpelo in Colombia, 2006, a sanctuary of flora and fauna; Cocos in Costa Rica in 1997 as natural heritage; and Galapagos, Ecuador, 1978 as natural heritage; and Coiba Islands in Panama. This fact has been emphasized by the General Commander of the Ecuadorian Navy, Real Almirante Brúmel Vázquez, in his message to this forum, Policies for Sustainable Development and Environmental Protection. United Nations in Sustainable Development Goals in 2015 and the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development in 2017 was the way for the International Union for Conservation of Nature to propose the conservation of 30% of the ocean for 2030. Marine Protecting Atlas led the measure of advantage of this 30% initiative. Using this powerful tool, in the next maps, we can see different levels of protected area as the Extratropical Pacifico Marine Corridor and the Philippines regions. Comparing the map of Pacifico Intertropical Corridor with the Philippines archipelago are similar, considering that the Tubataha Reef Marine Park covers more than 96,000 hectares, serving as a nesting site for birds and marine turtles. This is an excellent example of a pristine coral reef with a spectacular 100-meter perpendicular wall, with extensive lagoons and 2 coral islands, with them to establish the marine corridor. Following United Nations policies with World Summit Outcome document that coordinates work in the area of development of humanitarian assistance and the environment. The member states in 2005 recognized the importance of the unique experience and resources the United Nations system brings to the effectivity, efficiency, coherent, coordinate, and better perform. At the end of the work, one of the key recommendations of the panel in 2006 was that the United Nations system should deliver as one. As a policy, it is feasible to propose facilitated the process to establish the need of reinforcing UNESCO natural heritage sites. At the present, just 4% of the ocean has been protected, and the 50 areas declared natural heritage of humanity represent barely 10% of the marine areas protected by the states. Then, it's absolutely necessary to continue with this global effort to enlarge the marine protected areas and marine corridors up to the 30% under the United Nations policies delivered as one. After the case studies presented, we suggested the creation of a buffer zone between the exclusive economic zones and the high seas to protect marine ecosystem and their trophic networks. UNESCO should continue with the effort to protect the 50 World Heritage marine sites and create new sites to be safeguarded for future generations. Act as a custodians of the world's largest blue carbon ecosystem, making them more valuable than ever. Among the most relevant sites are Ecuador's Galapagos Islands, Australia's Great Barrier Reef, the Tubataha Reef Natural Park in the Philippines, Argentina's Valdez Peninsula, and the Gulf of California, among others. The islands in the Eastern Tropical Pacific conform a marine environment connected archipelago that has been declared protected by a joint international effort and could result in a good example to be followed to protect the archipelago of the Philippines and other UNESCO World Heritage marine sites and interconnected living marine corridors. It is of maximum importance the General Assembly of United Nations reaffirmed UNESCO following declaration of natural heritage and biosphere reserve under the Deliver as One United Nations policies. Evidence of ecosystemic connectivity between coastal zones with scientific research should be the basis of the General Assembly of United Nations and UNESCO to discuss the creation of suggested buffer zones between exclusive economic zones and the high seas. Among others, to prohibit activities during the fishing bans, the use of high technological advanced devices such as autonomous underwater vehicles, the use of long lines, the use of factory fishing vessels, the excessive of license for fishing vessels in one area, among. Once again, thanks to the organizer for my invitation, and let's continue working together for marine conservancy as a World Heritage.